it can make co-selling a little more difficult. So you really need to think outside the box.
How can I make sure that she gets her promotion? How can I make sure that she hits her metrics this quarter?
What is the process for facilitating opportunities, and what are their KPIs and motivation for engaging in this partnership?
And it essentially becomes a flywheel. It's a flywheel. It's a flywheel.
Welcome to Make Them Famous, the podcast about partner enablement.
The only podcast to uncover both how partner teams enable their partners
and how other department leaders enable their partner teams to achieve success.
Welcome back to Make Them Famous. I'm your host, Alex Glenn, and today is another episode about going to market with your power partners. How do you find, activate, and enable your top-tier go-to-market agency partners? That's the million-dollar question that we are going to answer on this episode. And it's the question that our two guests, Sharice Siegel, VP of Partnerships with Simon Data, and her partner, Alex Bauer, Head of Strategic Partnerships with top e-commerce agency Power Digital. Listen to this episode if you are after what we call power partners, these go-to-market strategic solutions partners that you need in order to successfully launch these larger features, successfully enter into a new segment, these people that are going to be building out your product integrations, builds, supporting your clients, your users, And the three of us are going to dig into the core pillars of a CDP's partner program. First, where agencies fit into this strategy, how to quickly bucket partners by key value opportunity, points to understand around Power Digital's agency persona. If you're going after e-commerce agencies like Power Digital, you'll definitely want to listen to that. How Simon Data develops personas ideal for going to market, finding those agencies who sell to CMOs, when and why Alex ignores most partnerships outreach messages, what Alex and Power Digital prepare with their chosen go-to-market partners. It's another very detailed and in-depth conversation. You'll want to listen to the whole thing. Honest truth, it's so good. And in the meantime, and before that, please pay attention to the next 3 sponsorship reads so that you can help us stay in business and keep this podcast going. Thanks again. Well, we could not make this podcast famous without help from our sponsors. For sponsorship, we looked to 3 platforms that help you find, activate, enable, and manage your partner program. These 3 tools may be the only tools that you'll need to effectively run partnership. The tools in question are Reveal for account mapping and running co-selling operations, Partner Stack for scaling a multi-tiered commission-centric program, and Partner Hub for working closely day-to-day with MSPs, managed service providers. Partner Stack probably needs no introduction, They work with top tech companies like Monday.com, Unbounce, Intercom, and Webflow. And it's a company that we recommend when you are ready to scale your commission-centric, usually a multi-tiered partner program. Check out Partner Stack to scale partnerships. Reveal, again, when you're ready to really get into the revenue operation of partnerships, that means that you want to map accounts, see what the overlap is, see who I'm targeting that you're also targeting, see who I'm targeting that you're not targeting, and come up with a strategy to get those accounts into my pipeline, into your pipeline, and to build that pie, that bigger and bigger pie together. Oftentimes, you'll invite a partner to an account mapping solution that has a paywall too early, which is prohibitive for a lot of the target audiences that our partner programs are after, the digital agencies. If you invite them to Reveal, you can trust that they won't hit a paywall. There's 360 account mapping UI in Reveal for free, and it is at reveal.co. Finally, Partner Hub, again, it's a partner operations platform. Partnerships has a lot going on. Who's doing what at what stage in the partnership are the questions that many of my partner managers ask themselves. Partner Hub is here to solve for What are we doing with partnerships? Who's doing what? Where are our partners? And if we need to find more, are we able to go and shop for more partners? Partner Hub answers all of those questions with yes, and it is free. It's free for top tech companies like Apollo, AudioEye, Smith, Growbots, Recart, Customer.io, and it's free for digital agencies like Hawk Media, Trellis, Aptitude 8, Creative Trends. A lot of these tech companies and agencies use Partner Hub to find and align with each other. MSP, managed service provider, digital agency, as well as SaaS tech companies. So check it out, partnerhub.app. And again, thank you for listening. I'll let you get back to the show. Welcome to the podcast. So first, Sharice, Simon Data, why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, what you're doing?
Yeah, thanks for having us. I'm Sharice Siegel. I'm VP of Partnerships here at Simon. I've been building out this partner program for the last year and a half. Before I started, we didn't have a formal partner program whatsoever. And so I jumped on board and have really started to build out the core pillars of the partner program. As a CDP, data integrations across data sources and destinations, so data output to marketing campaigns, for example, are core to our go-to-market strategy from a partner program, but also agencies. And agencies are really special at helping us retain clients, expand with them, deploy unique use cases. So they really are an accelerator to a technology platform like ours. So that's what brings us to the table, working with Power Digital and kicking off this partnership.
Awesome. And Alex, great to finally connect with you. We've been chatting for a long time. You're in Partner Hub, so thank you for being there. And we finally get to record some content together. So who are you? What are you doing? What does your team consist of? What is the main objective? All that stuff.
Yeah. Likewise. First, I just want to say thank you, Alex, for having us on. It's such an honor to be able to sit here and share some of our insights and findings in the world of partnerships. For everybody listening, my name's Alex Bauer. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at Power Digital. For background context, we're a tech-enabled strategic marketing company. We have over 16 different service offerings for companies across B2B, B2C, commerce. I actually started my career in the fashion space before making my way over to e-commerce nearly 10 years ago, where I got to ideate and execute 360 strategies for some of the most well-known names in the space today. And in working for a smaller agency at the time, many years ago, I found myself more involved on the business side, where I was able to grow the business by working with my own personal network of partners, which not only helped scale that company, but also solve the challenges for our clients that they were facing as the industry shifted with the rise of social media and influencers. And then in 2020, my most recent agency, Covet PR, was acquired by Power Digital, which really provided the opportunity to scale our partnership program, which was what Sharice said, essentially non-existent at the time, and work closely with some of our really groundbreaking partners like Simon Data. So now I oversee a small team that oversees our community of partners, not only facilitating introductions and collaborating with our core partners, but also evaluating our clients' tech stacks and making sure that their technology and the platforms that they're utilizing is setting them up for success, as well as our teams up for success.
Awesome. And back to Alex real quick. Who are your partners right now? Obviously Simon Data, but what other tech partners do you have that we may know?
Big one, Klaviyo, master elite partner of theirs. We've been a partner for as long as I can remember. Attentive as well. Impact Radius is a big one on the affiliate side, and Gorgeous. So, we have a pretty robust roster of channel partners, and we'll get into how we kind of qualify, but also make sure that our partners aren't battling against each other for our portfolio of clients here in a little bit. But it's a good community we've got growing here.
So Sharice, let's talk about the persona and the operation around development of the strategy and then finding those Alex Neils of the world that can be really awesome strategic partners for you. What does it entail at Simon Data? What are some of the internal conversations and strategy that you guys put together? And then obviously you go after them and find them and recruit them. But what's the strategy there?
Well, I think for us, it has to start with aligning with the executive team on how we plan to support clients and their initiatives. So we are a platform that's sold to marketing organizations. And, we, at Simon really believe that we are a traditional SaaS business model and want to remain that. And that typically means having only like less than 5% of your revenue attributed towards services. And so that means that we need help with agency partners to help marketing teams, our customers, really get the most value out of our platform. We want to service them enough to be successful in our platform, but anything above and beyond that, they should own in-house or outsource to an agency. And us having deep relationships with the agencies is an important factor in that. We want to be consultative in referring that business to agencies, not consultative in doing that business that agencies would normally do. So for us, that was really important. Immediately when I started, was really aligning with what our business model is and how do we want to orient towards that long term. It was immediately clear that we wanted to stay traditional SaaS and partner out. And I think, then after that, it's really diving into how is our platform used and where are customers having pain points. So whether that's pain points they have around our solution or pain points within the solution, and how much of that can be mitigated through a service partner. So for example, we're looking at ways that our customer is implementing our platform. There's a particular part with that implementation that almost always they get hung up on. It delays the process, it delays adoption. Is there a way we can bring in an agency to kind of help fill that gap for a client and accelerate that adoption? So it really has to come at like, what is the Simon as a company, the technology partner, trying to accomplish with that client, and where are they often getting hung up on, or where is their friction point around our solution where an agency could really kind of help kind of smooth over some of those gaps. So identifying that will help us like whittle down into what types of services we need agencies to help us support. Sometimes it's implementation of your service. Sometimes it's building creative for a media campaign. So there's different agencies that span different types of services. And where there's a bigger need is where you should focus your energy first for your go-to-market, because then you immediately have the most important part of building a partnership, which is that value added piece to the partner. Like, you don't want to go out there and just go talk to partners just because they have similar logos to you. You need to actually make sure that you have the value that you can give them in exchange for spending time to partner with you. And that is really like the first leap into, making sure that you're working with the right partners, is having that proper value exchange. Most partner teams are measured on source revenue from a partner. Like, I think it's broadly known. And so just starting with that assumption that they likely are driven off of sales is making sure you have that sales repository that you can share with them in order to make them successful is like the first step to making sure that you're on the right path. If you don't have that value add, like, don't waste their time. Like, we've all been in those partner conversations where you have like bi-weekly calls for like never ending a year and a half and nothing ever takes off. And it seems to be like you just miss that value add. There's some misalignment in having that conversation and making sure that you have that value added piece that you can give them, most likely a new lead, before you even kind of kick things off.
I love it. Yeah. Starting with that thing, that lead or that campaign, so you're not wasting Alex's time. And, Alex, you mentioned all the stuff that you're doing at Power Digital is not just partnerships, but you have salespeople that rely on you, and you've got obviously client service stuff that you're probably pulled in on. You do have to maintain partnerships, but there's bigger things that are pressing you in different directions. So when a partner manager comes to you with, hey, let's just have an open conversation about what we can do together, you probably don't reply to those types of emails. If you're like most of the partner managers at agencies that are super busy, you got to have something tangible. So let's talk about that real quick. Like, you can draw on maybe the latest experience that you've had, or even Simon Data's experience. You guys met at Shop Talk. Maybe you received a cold email from another partner and you decided to pursue it because of what either Sharice said or what was in that email. what are some of those things that partner managers can do to get your attention and keep your attention and keep you in this conversation, at least, of let's go to market together? And then flip side, what are some of the things that you've received or, that are just fluff, that are just not valuable, and you don't reply to those conversations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, when we were first starting to build this partner program over at Power Digital, we were really honing in on, first and foremost, what are the platforms that our clients are using on the tech side? What are they utilizing most, and what is providing the most value to a majority of the clients within our portfolio? And from an agency perspective, of course, we've had like the shifts in the market, and, that's really changed things around a bit. But it's really important for us to understand and have that deeper understanding of what the platform does, which channels they support, what pain points can they solve, and what gaps can they fill for our clients, as well as, once we've engaged in that conversation, how they work with agencies, as well as like defining their motivation and engagement elements for working with us. So a few questions that we'll typically ask when we're first vetting, an inquiry or a new partner interest note. It's, what's their target ideal client profile? Does it align with ours? What benefits are they providing, and how can they positively impact our team's efforts? What is the process for facilitating opportunities, and what are their KPIs and motivation for engaging in this partnership? Is it lead share, introductions to our clients, which of course is always important? Is it, driving more brand awareness? Is it through those, co-marketing elements? Is it being able to implement or even offer their sales team an additional value add for anybody that is coming through their sales cycle, such as, and we can dive more into this, but, a complimentary audit of their holistic marketing strategy. So I think that being able to identify, and for these partner managers that are conducting outreach, noting in that initial outreach, all of the answers to these questions engage for us, whether or not it's a partnership that will drive consecutive value for both parties up front. That'll create a culture of partnership and understanding, and ensure that the partnership is really set up for success and ultimately worth the time investment.
That's killer. Yeah, Sharice, you're nodding your head. So you agree to all of this stuff. And you were mentioning before we started recording, on your side, you do kind of get the same sort of time wasting outreach conversations. You don't really have anything tangible. You just want me to, you mentioned, embed your data in our solution, and a time wasting sort of start to the conversation. But I like what you mentioned, Sharice, about bucketing the partners and about deciding where they fit and what opportunities you can have with each partner. We call them 3 buckets really. Am I just going to refer to you? I don't need to build solutions around your product. I don't need to integrate. I don't need to set up services. I like Simon data. I'm going to send you business when it comes across my desk, and you give me a referral link. Call that an affiliate relationship or a referral relationship. Then there's the implementation partner bucket, which you are trying to get built with Power Digital, where Alex and Power Digital team will learn Simon data in and out. You'll get on multiple calls, lunch and learns, product XYZ, certification maybe. And at the end of the day, Alex and the entire Power Digital team will have services maybe even listed on their website related to implementing Simon data. That's the ideal, I think, for this relationship. But then there's the third, which we call either collaborative partnerships or co-marketing only or co-selling only, where you sell to the same customer persona. Maybe you don't even like each other's businesses, but you're targeting the same customers, and you both have traffic on your website. You both have lots of leads in your CRM. Maybe if you have some time at the end of the month, you'll map accounts and see if you can provide some warm introductions and just do one-to-one trading, or create an event together, because maybe Alex has a great marketing team and you need to get in front of her audience and she wants to get in front of yours. So do an event together, do a webinar. Why not? That's the third bucket. So let's talk about how you determine priorities around those buckets. When is it a time wasting scenario, Sharice, where you're not focusing on one of the buckets versus the other? And kind of where are you focused right now at Simon Data?
I mean, it's a great question. I think when I'm in those scenarios where someone's reaching out to me cold in my scenario, it's usually like some data set, like third-party data that they want us to start reselling within our solution. And usually if one of my team members jumps on the call, we're having initial discussions with them on like, what is the use case? What's the value and how do they differentiate in the market? And if it's not solving for a pain point that we are aware of, we just are completely honest with them and say, thanks, this is really great to hear. I'll keep you in mind. Maybe we check in 6 months to 9 months and see if things have changed. But for now, I don't see a big need for this. And then you just gracefully move on. I think the worst thing to do is just kind of keep like not have that frank conversation with the other party. And then it just kind of like lingers on forever. And then you have like this weird guilt, like you feel like you should do something with it. And we've all been there where it just kind of, whether it was, we didn't really know how to do the breakup call or just weren't willing to like have that like frank discussion. That's my best advice is like, just jump to the chase quickly and make sure that there's value on both sides. If you're not going to be able to buy their solution and resell it, like, move on. They have other things to work on too. And I think there's definitely a professional way to be able to do that. Going into, what Simon's focusing on, I think when it comes to agencies, we don't necessarily, in Power Digital, necessarily expect them to put, Simon Data Services on their website. We know they're working with lots of different partners. For us, it's our job to demonstrate how we provide value for their clients and give them a path to more revenue in their services. And so one thing we're in the midst of doing right now is really like packaged solutions. So like I was mentioning, parts of our platform where we saw lots of great adoption and we wanted to see more customers doing those types of activities, attaching those to an agency. And there's definitely quite a few that we see with Power Digital, building a package around a specific outcome that customer is going to receive by bringing in Power Digital and Simon Data together to solve for that solution and having it be unique and differentiated. There's just so much you can do off of a single package. You can do a case study, you can do an event around it, you can bundle multiple packages together, but it can really be the launching point for starting that relationship and that bidirectional business model. And it essentially becomes a flywheel. And having it be a package outcome that both parties are working towards, where both parties have a benefit and the client is seeing a clear benefit, I call it a triple win. Like it's so hard to argue with that sort of an output if you hit the nail on the head, but it is a lot of work to get there. And it usually takes someone taking the leap to bringing it into the client and having that first engagement. It was almost always the hardest part of getting a partnership going, is not necessarily account mapping, not finding the right partners. It's getting that first engagement together and then using that as fuel for the next 2, 3, 5, 10 engagements. So we're actually in the midst of rolling out actual package solutions, and like we'll be promoting them to our clients and like highlighting key partners, Power Digital being one of the few. And really trying to demonstrate that triple win and highlighting the customer value so that we can work together on more engagements together.
I was just going to jump in here to add, I think that with our partnership in particular, and I would say, I guess, partnerships as a whole, the phased out approach has worked really well for us. So establishing that partnership up front, what are the value adds? What are the KPIs that we're working towards? Sharice and her team, have built out an entire roadmap for this partnership, which has been has provided us monumental success for us to get from where we were, 3-4 months ago to where we are now, and being able to, in this almost like phase 2, roll out these package, offerings to both our clients and theirs, and really work together on the approach. Sometimes the first approach doesn't work. So you have to kind of innovate and remodel how you're going to present this to current clients, potential client opportunities that are in the pipeline, where we're both trying to work with that particular brand and really work together on, all right, if this didn't work, how can we reposition so that, we're showcasing the value so that we can then create that first real opportunity that we can then piggyback on and showcase the success of that for future engagements.
I love that. Yeah. And it's very rare to hear of partnerships being so well thought through and structured, honestly. I
have one thing to add to that I think has been really helpful, especially in the Power Digital engagement, is also really aligning on who else are they partnering with. Power Digital does incredible work with Klaviyo, Attentive. Like, how can we tell our story around it to remove any of the ambiguity or uncertainty of can I bring this tool into this account that also has this ESP, and how do they interact? It's really up to tech providers to provide that to agencies and make it easy for them to understand. They have to deal with so many different tools and conflicting data stacks or conflicting MarTech stacks. It's really up to a tech partner to kind of clear the air on your client has XYZ tools. This is how we integrate, and this is how we deliver even deeper value to help accelerate what you're already doing with those solutions. So mapping out the story of not only as a tech partner, how you can provide value as a standalone solution, but how you complement all the other things they're working on as well is really important.
Yep. And making sure that your partners on the agency side are well educated on everything you just said, because my team has to go back to ours on the marketing side and relay all of this information, make sure you're getting in front of them, because it's really their job to communicate that to the client. So as much as possible that you can clearly outline everything you just mentioned, you're going to have more success in working with the partner team that's then working with the marketing team.
Yeah, and selfishly, I'm taking notes, but I'm thinking about one of the features that we have coming where we're allowing you to build out your partner memorandum, is what we call it, with your partners. And we have a document for this we share when people are onboarding in the Partner Hub, and we try to get them to understand, you don't just ad hoc the partnership to say, hey, let's do something together, let's figure it out as we go. You have to say, I'm coming to you with a specific idea. Here's the plan. Here's who we're going after together, the target customer persona, and be detailed about it. Here's where we're going to find those individuals. Here's what my team's bringing to the table: data, resources, training, support. Here's what I expect from you. So it's a two-way street. Alex, I need you to come to the table with this, this, and this. I need you to sign off on that. That's why we have a partner memorandum, because if we just have this conversation, and it's perfect timing. I'm not going to release the podcast right next to each other, so if you're listening, you'll have to find it. We're talking to a founder of an agency. He's like, yeah, on a call, if you say something I like, I'm going to agree to it. But my next 5 calls are with customers. And as soon as I'm done with that day, what do you think I'm going to remember from the day? You think I'm going to remember your partner opportunity, or those 5 fires I got to put out the next day? What do you think I'm going to go to bed thinking about? Right. And if you don't really have something tangible that I can then go into my calendar on that call and book you with my head of marketing or book you with my head of sales, we're not going to have a next call. It's going to fizzle out. Mm-hmm. So I really like that you mentioned that. So partner memorandum, I think, is the takeaway there. Have a really good strategy that you want to play out with that person, that agency, and make sure that that it is aligned with what they're trying to do before you even enter their inbox, before you even start the conversation. Otherwise, you're just going to be chalked up as a waste of their time. They're not going to return your emails. So it sounds like, Sharice, just from this conversation, and I have been quiet, letting you guys kind of riff on each other a little bit, and it's been really good to hear, because I talked to a lot of partner managers. They don't have these sort of, here's what we did and why it's working. You can quickly kind of understand, you're probably not going to be a partner manager for much longer, or you're not going to at least have a lot of success unless your product just continues to generate a ton of demand. And then you're just there, you're just kind of there because your product is so good and they need somebody to call the partnerships person, but you're not going to truly go to market and have the successful relationship. So I really like that. So let's go down the list here. We've got a couple of things that we want to check off here. We talked about qualifying partners, talked about finding the right go-to-market partners. And now let's go into the actual go-to-market. Let's go into what it is, right? So you've qualified Alex, Sharice. You guys have started the conversation. Sharice has bought into this idea. Let's talk about continuing the motion and bringing in other departments a little bit, what you have to do and how you manage and balance the, like, I need Alex to do this stuff. I need my head of marketing to do this stuff, but obviously everybody's got their own, things going on. So talk to us of just what that looks like from your position and how you make sure that the go-to-market conversation doesn't fizzle out and it actually gets done.
I think, Alex, we probably should talk about like the beauty playbook for Power Digital, and then which is essentially Power Digital's version of the value of this partnership. And then the Simon Data's version of the value of this partnership is our paid media and content strategy package that we're rolling out. Essentially, it's taking back the value that each of you can provide for each organization and translating it into a way that is solves for your personal organization's problems. So, Alex, I'm going to speak for you, and then I'll kind of jump in. But you're building out this impressive like beauty playbook with partners that have done really great things with beauty e-com brands. And you're building out a comprehensive suite of what's possible in the market. Like, maybe tell a little bit about that. And that's like your version, your translation of the value of what this partnership could potentially bring.
One unique element of Power Digital is that we have two industrialized divisions, our fashion division and our beauty division. We're also growing out, industry divisions for food and beverage, health and wellness. And what those departments are really allowing our clients to do and how they're providing more success for them is that they're getting a team that are not only well-versed in their individual channels or cross-channel alignment, but also industry-specific knowledge, so that we're ensuring that those, clients within those particular industries are maintaining their competitive advantage. And one thing we've been able to do with the fashion playbook and our beauty playbook is incorporate the core technologies and partners that are going to enhance their experience as well as the efforts that our team is putting in. So it's almost like the recommendation of how they need to reassess and realign their tech stack so that our team is more successful, their team is more successful, the company is more successful, and being able to measure that across the board. So we, in the early stages of our partnership with Simon, we were able to say, hey, we are building these playbooks. We really want to incorporate Simon Data as our CDP preferred partner so that these specific clients are getting that value, and they may not have heard of Simon before, but they have visibility into what Simon is doing and how they can benefit from their offering off the bat, whether it be channel specific or, lifestyle marketing, et cetera. And another more recent opportunity that we brought to Simon and we're able to collaborate on is our Q4 playbook. So for all of our clients, we present these each year. That essentially is planning for Q4, the most, I would say, I don't even know the word for it right now, but the most important time of the year that, you really need to plan for months out. And with that, it takes, with the shifts in the marketing landscape, having to reassess their tech stack or see where there are gaps so that we can fill them in advance of, the highest traffic time of the year.
Yeah. So like Alex and her team are, creating like really comprehensive playbooks for clients in beauty and fashion in particular. And, Alex has been doing a great job building partnerships with all the different tech partners that specialize in those brands too, or do really great work there already and have proof points for those types of verticals. So that's one of the reasons why our partnership really started to kind of take shape. It was our specialty in this space, and then on Simon's side, it was really, how do I translate, like the beauty playbook is cool. Like people at Simon would love to see it, but like, I can't really I guess I can hand that to a client, but it's going to be kind of like out of context of where our solution is. And I actually want to bring this partnership into context of how Simon orients to a brand. And so I create my version of what a playbook is for a Power Digital opportunity. And it's really more around crafting, like taking their strengths and kind of molding them around also areas of our platform that we want to see greater adoption in. So essentially, we need to see more value out of getting our customers to adopt certain types of use cases. How can we use a partner like Power Digital to help us accelerate that, so then they also get value out of it? And how do we create that unified experience for our client? And if all worlds come together where the beauty playbook and our joint solution kind of all comes together, then great. But sometimes it's really about, how do I translate the value of this partnership into how my marketing team, my product, my executive team is orienting around OKRs for the company as well. And so it's translating it into how it makes sense for your org, but still on the same themes.
No, I love it. And a big thing with partnerships teams in particular, like Alex, even though you have BD and partnerships, you're doing both, but you still have partnerships as probably the core OKR. The persona itself is a lot different than working directly with a CEO. Like I referenced, the last call was CEO. They have, revenue from the whole team, from client services. So when Simon Data approaches a CEO, you would have obviously a different conversation. It would be a little probably more product focused and initial, like, who can we bring you today type focused. With Alex, it's more of, okay, well, you're doing this, you're on this track, you're on this plane, right? And this is where we fit in and how we can make it go faster. Does that make sense? So like, if I come to Alex, I first present my idea, but then I backpedal and say, where are you focused, Alex? What are you doing right now? And Alex says, we've got this fashion thing that we're doing. Maybe the whole agency's focused on fashion. Let's pretend that you're not, and just say, you're getting into fashion. You want to get into fashion, and you're looking for partners that can help you accelerate your takeover of the fashion e-commerce marketing, vertical. And then Simon Data and Sharice says, oh, you know what? Well, I didn't know that going into the call, but now that you tell me, I may have something right now, but if I don't, I'm going to quickly go back to my marketing team and figure out, like, what do we have in fashion, and come back to you. But now I'm starting to figure out, okay, well, where can we fit on this plane that you're on? And maybe I have an idea. And I say, okay, well, you know what? We're actually working with this other partner over here on a go-to-market in fashion. And I have to quickly change from like operations to like creative marketing and say, let's bring you in and have you be this component in that go-to-market that we're already in the process of getting done. And in partner programs and Partner Hub, in our context, we call these circles, where Sharice wants Alex as a partner and wants to go to market with Alex, but maybe Simon Data isn't looked at as like a relevant tool for Power Digital right now, maybe. And then you have to quickly pivot to say, you know what, our tool, our solution, you may not have that light bulb go off right now on this call, or when you were reviewing pre-call, but I have something else that I can talk to you about that is separate from the product. And that is this go-to-market with this other brand. And how I'm going to bring you in on that is A, B, C, and D. And this is what the goal would be. And now you're still on her track. So that's one of the things that we have to do. And you don't want to force it, because obviously there's time that Sharice has to put in and there's resources that Simon Data has to put in. You don't want to force it. But at the end of the day, the end goal is we've worked together on something that was mutually beneficial and it yielded X, Y, and Z, and we can report on that. And then we just need to figure out if we can rinse and repeat. But the big thing there is too many partnerships teams, they only go in with product and they put themselves in a corner. And it's, if the product isn't a fit right now, you're going to say no. And that's going to be the end of the conversation. And you'll probably never get another conversation. So Sharice, I want to hear your opinion on like strategically looking at, like, I want Power Digital and I'm going in with, I'm Simon Data, and she's going to check out the product and she's going to circulate the links before the call is maybe even booked, but you want to separate the two so that you still have the opportunity to say, it's not all about the product. We have a product, yes, but we also have a partnership strategy and we can help you in other ways. How do you separate the two, and what is your opinion on what I just said, really?
I mean, that happens all the time. in partnerships. And I think first off, leading with where you think they're going. So in that initial outreach, they're going to go look at your website and they're going to come to their own assumptions around things. Like, can you lead with, I saw what you're doing in beauty and fashion, and we're doing similar things across XYZ brands. They saw XYZ value of our solution. And I think we could do even more if we brought in an agency like you and would be interested in develop and seeing if there's some sort of mutually beneficial solution here together. So see if you can get ahead of it. But also, you run into these scenarios too as a tech partner as well, like where you're sometimes competing with certain elements of what they're already doing. And maybe you're competing on the product side. Maybe you're competing with a partnership that they already have. Like maybe they're partnering with one of your competitors. And I think at the end of the day, like, call a spade as fast as possible. If you still think that there's value here, come to the table with what more you could be doing as a partner. Don't come at it as like trying to conflict with it. Come in as how can you complement what they're already doing? Otherwise, you're going to put the partner in an awkward place, and it's natural. And when anyone's cornered or feels awkward, they're going to revert and they're going to get away and they're going to try and go back to a comfortable space. So, and calling a spade right out of the gates is going to be the fastest way to kind of like cut to the chase and see if there is mutual value. And if they don't see mutual value, that's okay. Like, it's totally okay. Yeah, maybe try again in another 3 to 4 months and maybe make that proposal in the email of like, so great to talk to you. I would love to see how this, kind of how things span over the next August, September. I'll reach out in Q4 when I'm building out my next strategic focus plan. Like maybe we can align then. And, maybe by the time things have shifted. So I think it's just coming to the table with that, where you think they're already kind of orienting mentally first, and where you think they have concerns and calling it out right away and finding ways to complement what they're actually concerned about.
Killer. I want Alex's opinion on all that, but the mentality there is products are coming to you all day long and you can't build services or represent all these products. For context, one of our top agency partners, they will have their service-based partnership with one tool like Klaviyo. But then Omnisend comes to them and wants to partner, and they won't say no. They'll say yes, but I can't train my sales team on your product because we're already doing this with our core partner. But I have a big presence in EMEA, and you want to get deeper into EMEA, I can help you with that. But what are you going to do for me? And then Omnisend will say, we have this much in our market development fund, and we'd love to provide that to you for this quarter to help us get into this area. And that's just an example. I haven't talked to the Omnisend team about this or anything, but that's just an example. If I came to you as a competitor to Klaviyo, and I know I can't get into your stack from a sales perspective, but I still think we can do stuff together. What do you say?
Yeah, to your point, there's always opportunity to expand. We're seeing platforms that are competing, but also have various offerings that the other competitor may not offer. So honing in on where they differentiate is really important, and being upfront and having that conversation like, hey, Simon Data or Klaviyo or Gorgeous, they're already in this top partner bucket of ours, and we've been working really closely, and we have a great relationship, and we have been working on various opportunities together. But what are the key differentiators that set you apart? If there are none, maybe right now isn't the right time to engage. If there are, let's see how we can really hone in on those differentiators. And we might have some clients that, have been on a specific platform for a really long time, and the CMO comes to us and says, hey, we're looking for another platform to fill this gap. We're really not, as happy, or our budgets have shifted and we need a more cost-effective solution for XYZ. Then that's where we engage with this other partner. We are lucky enough to have a lot of loyal partners where we haven't gotten into a scenario where we're like, they're no longer going to be a partner anymore. They just, haven't engaged. But those opportunities for some other agencies might pop up. So I think there is value in checking in on a quarterly basis, but even more so, just outlining what those differentiators are up front from your competitors and seeing how you can work together in that aspect. And there was one thing I really wanted to touch on that Sharice kind of briefly mentioned previously with, as you're working together or like trying to figure out in the, I would call it co-selling process, with driving value to those agency partners, see what else that they have, what else are they building internally beyond just marketing. With agencies, it's not always as straightforward as selling a product, but Power is fortunate enough to have built a platform, it's called Nova, that can audit any business marketing channel, their holistic marketing strategy, and produce a corresponding roadmap, which is essentially a tangible product. But most agencies don't have a product. Their product is solely their people and the service and the solutions they provide. It can make co-selling a little more difficult. So you really need to think outside the box and dig into what are the other initiatives that the agency has going on and how can that complement this partnership? How can we work it into this partnership and provide value for both of our portfolio of clients or new clients that are coming in?
So good. That's so good. So the summary of that is really, be creative, understand that you may not be the solution for their clients at the end of the day. You may not, and be ready to kind of have a different thing that you can talk about. That is a partnership. I tell partner managers all the time, it's like you are building something totally separate from your product. You cannot just come in with product all day long. You'll get a lot of doors shut in your face and you'll fail at partnerships. You have to have, what is it we are doing together? And it's go to market. Maybe it's co-marketing, it's co-selling, it's targeting a vertical together and using whatever resources you have at your disposal to get in and provide that mutual value, that win-win-win, right? And that's, I think, lost on a lot of partnership teams, but it doesn't sound like it's lost on Simon Data. Obviously, it's not lost on Alex and Power Digital. You guys have some great partnerships. And I was just checking out your partner landing page, Sharice, and it's really well done. You guys show off examples of resources you put together with partners that highlight your partners. I always tell partner managers too, it's like, Make Them Famous is the name of this podcast for a reason. Not my term, by the way. Pete Caputa, former HubSpot over at DataBox, it's his phrase. But you have to kind of lead with, how are we going to make Power Digital famous? Where are you going to be? What is it you're going to get out of just the time that you're going to spend with me? And then it'll formalize into whatever it becomes. But let's make you famous in this near term, and you'll be happy at the end of the day just with that. Final thoughts, advice to partner managers out there, Sharice, that are maybe dealing with power partners. Power Digital is the name of the agency, but we call them power partners. You're trying to get a very good agency, a top tier agency like Power Digital to partner with you. What are some of the things you've learned in short, and advise?
Yeah, I actually am like pretty new to agencies and have, before I worked at Simon, I was in product. I focus on integrations into platforms, and, agencies has been a new space for me. And over the last year and a half, there has been a lot of testing and iterating. And thankfully we kicked off our partnership with Power Digital after I learned some of those scars, or like some of those lessons learned, and had a couple of scars on like how to really think through developing a partnership with agencies. And I think the things I would learn, or lessons I've learned, and what advice I've given to other partner managers that have come up into the space is, make them famous, but make the company famous. Sure. Great. That's awesome. But more importantly, make the partner manager famous. Like, how can I make Alex look like a total badass? How can I make sure that she gets her promotion? How can I make sure that she hits her metrics this quarter? And understanding that is so important, because they are your advocates internally. She's the one that's going to the team to say, Simon needs to be in the Nova audit. Simon needs to be in the beauty playbook. Simon needs to be on the Q4 QBR. So it is so much more important to make your contacts, your partner contacts, successful in their roles. And so understanding what they need and asking them, how are you doing with your targets? How can I help? And making sure that you're actively trying to help them. Maybe they're trying to hire someone. Maybe they're trying to, get support from a marketing team. Maybe you can give them a business case of what you've done before to get, resources or get, partner support. So I think for me, the lesson learned is how can I make my contacts at the partner side more successful in their role, and then everything else will happen organically. If it is truly a triple win where all organizations win and the customer sees joint value, it will happen organically. But if you don't focus on how to make those individuals successful, the partnership will be dead in the water.
Oh, amen. Amen. Yes, that's the caveat to that. I was showing your partner landing page because you have their faces, the people that you interviewed in the graphic. I mean, just those little things will not only increase the share rate from those individuals, because you're going to post it on social. And I saw Eric Huberman, one of our investors right there. And, the likelihood of him sharing it, let's say he was the partner manager, is going to go way up. He's the CEO, so he has interest either way. But if you do a blog post that has Power Digital and you just put their logo, that's good. But what's better is put Alex's face right there in the header and tag her in the post on social and really draw some attention to her as a human being. And you'll do a lot better in the relationship overall, I think.
Yeah.
Alex, final thoughts. We got 2 minutes. Final thoughts on advice to partner managers like Sharice. What should they be doing more of, in your opinion, or less of?
Well, I think Sharice and her team do a really great job at all of these things. But my advice for partner managers that are reaching out to agencies, want to engage in a partnership, clearly outline what value you can provide to their clients. What are the particular success stories that you can use to showcase the success that you've had as a company? What value can you provide to the partner, as Sharice noted, and their business, as well as their primary KPIs? Map out clear expectations for the partnership, whether that's time investment, bandwidth, team investment, whatever that may be. Make sure that's outlined very clearly. Maintain engagement. We see a lot of engagement drop off, not because they're partners that we don't want to, engage with, but they might have a small team and it might take a little bit for the marketers on our marketing side to get back and confirm certain things. Maintain that engagement, keep following up. Make things as easy as possible for their marketing team to comprehend, and have a strategic roadmap for the partnership so that you can make sure that you're, hitting goals, deadlines, and moving the partnership forward versus remaining stagnant.
So good. Oh, this is a really good episode. I'm excited. Thank you both for being on. So we wrapped up, I think, just in time. I think we got some killer go-to-market strategy, defining, bucketing, going to market, providing value, finding that triple win like Sharice is, and preparing and planning and operationalizing the partnership and having that clear objective right away so that you're not wasting anyone's time. As Alex would say, just make sure you're coming to me with what is going to happen and what is the real value in the end goal. And then we'll have those follow-up calls. Thank you both. Pleasure to finally connect over a call, Alex, and
likewise.
See you guys online.
Thanks so much. Bye.